And welcome back to Sports Hits with Cwit. I'm your host, Colin Whitty. So my Pittsburgh Steelers are playing in rival Cleveland Browns tonight, 8:15 on Fox. So what am I looking for? I just win. Just win. It's Tomlin's motto. Just win, baby. That's all they gotta do. Win. Win. Listen, the Browns are 3-6. We're 5-4. It's a big game. You look at the Browns' schedule. It's not that tough. It's not that tough coming up. Cleveland's -3.5. It's not that tough. Their schedule is not that tough. It's a big game for these Steelers. Big game. So obviously, these two quarterbacks played in college, and it was quite a shootout. 62-52 the last time these two quarterbacks played. Obviously, the in-state rival Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, where Baker Mayfield and Mason Rudolph went to college. And I don't think we're getting another 62-52 point game, ladies and gentlemen. But we could see a good game. Obviously, it's on prime time. Big rivalry game. When the NFL scheduled this earlier, they thought Ben would be playing, and Ben got hurt second game of the year, excuse me. And they thought these Browns would be everything special, and I'm going to tell you guys, they're not that special. Listen, they've gotten Odell Beckham Jr. in the offseason, and all these critics, all these sports analysts are like, oh, the Browns are great. Freddie Kitchens is a hell of a coach. Baker Mayfield's the next big thing. Odell Beckham Jr. is a superstar. Jarvis Landry's a superstar. Myles Garrett, Olivier Vernon, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. I'll go on and on and on. Sheldon Richardson, a big free agency signing. John Dorsey doing a great job. John Dorsey is doing a good job producing talent, but can he produce leadership and wins? It doesn't matter how much talent you have. You don't have a good coach. You don't have a good quarterback. Your team's not disciplined. You're not winning. I go back to the example so many times. Look at Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Look at the Rams and the Patriots team last year. You can't tell me the Rams had a worse team than the Patriots last year. Patriots didn't have a good defense, but they coached them up. They got the GOAT Bill Belichick and the GOAT Tom Brady, and they went and won the Super Bowl. Simple as that. You look at the Patriots roster, it doesn't impress you. They probably have like the fifth best roster in the NFL right now. But like a guy like Kyle Van Noy, who was arrested in college, turns out to be an all-pro linebacker. Fits that scheme beautifully. So it doesn't matter what people say, what they do. It's got to revolve to wins for the Browns. I'm going to give you 4 things I want to see and 4 things I don't really want to see. Number 1, keep the steel curtain up. I mean, this defense has been absolutely phenomenal as of late. Phenomenal what this defense is doing. Absolute awesome. I'm going to go through their schedule right now. I'm going to go through their schedule, explain what happened, my thoughts on it. Listen, New England Patriots week 1. I was confident coming into this game, but then after the first quarter, I kind of knew it was over. Seattle comes in week 2. Listen, Bush was still developing at that time, still trying to figure out who we really are, trying to find our identity. Ben goes down, have to adapt to Rudolph, lose that game 26-28. Then we go all the way out to San Francisco. Defense produces 5 turnovers, and one of that reason, the new addition of going to be, mark my word, going to be a future Defense Player of the Year, Minka Fitzpatrick. They got 5 turnovers that game, but the offense kind of stalled. They lost that game 20-24. They get a nice bounce back week 4 win against the Bengals. They won that game 27-3. Pass rush is really, really coming on. Then they got a big Baltimore game They lose that in overtime because of Juju Smith-Schuster's fumble, but there were some boo-boos. You can't blame it all on Juju like you can last year against the Saints. Then Duck Hodges leads us into the Los Angeles Chargers, and we beat them 24-17 with a strong defensive first half and James Conner running over them. Week 7 was the bye. Week 8, we got the Dolphins. We won that 27-14, rough first half. Tried to adapt to the bye week, but we're all good at the end. Indianapolis Colts, big win that game. I was at this game, actually. 26-24, Adam Vinatieri missing the field goal. And then the last week, the Rams. This defense has been absolutely phenomenal. You look at the competition they play. Yeah, it's Brian Hoyer, but Brian Hoyer's he played really well that game. And one could argue he played as well as Jacoby Brissett was, except for one bad decision. That's to Minkah Fitzpatrick 97-yard touchdown is what I'm talking about, that bad decision. Number 2, offensive efficiency. Listen, I know this offense is still developing and they're so young, but you have a backup quarterback. You got to run. You got to be able to run the ball, and the Steelers can't seem to do it, so they're putting in Mason Rudolph in 3rd and 10 situations. Somehow he kind of been coming up with them, pulling rabbits out of his hats. But the offense needs to be more efficient. And that leads me into number 3. You got to run the ball better. Listen, I know James Conner was hurt. This guy's always hurt. It's his running style. He's a downhill runner who'll knock right into you. He's going to have injuries. You got an AC joint in his shoulder. Jalen Samuels took over. Not the best runner, but still did a good job receiving the ball out of the backfield. And then you got guys like Trey Edmonds and Benny Snell who just got hurt, so they had to call up God, I forget his name. Number 40, he's Tony Brooks James. Excuse me, I apologize. Yeah, Tony Brooks James from Oregon. He's like a second-year player. He wasn't even on the team. He was probably on the streets earlier. We called him up. He's doing fine, but he's not James Conner. He's not Benny Snell. He's not any other running back. Excuse me. Listen, this team's going to be a playoff team. I don't think they're going far. They won't go far. They'll probably lose in the first round, which I'm very satisfied with. We have our second-string quarterback, and our Hall of Fame quarterback is out for a year. This team is good, ladies and gentlemen. Another thing I want to see is Mason Rudolph taking the next step. Listen, I know all you guys you're not going to admit it, but at the Dolphins game, the time we were down 14-0 to them, you guys were screaming for Duck. I know you were. I wasn't. I trust Mason. But I want to see that next step. Obviously, he didn't have the best game against the Rams, but he did have some help as well. He had some drops. But I need to see another step. Hopefully Coach Fickner will open up the playbook and let Mason Rudolph sling the ball. I mean, it's basically a tryout year for him. See if he's the future of this franchise. Because Ben only has a couple years left. You think about it, Ben only has a couple years left. What I don't want to see, I don't want to see these defense play zone and get burned. Listen, I know Keith Butler's doing a fantastic job, but I feel like it's going to be a primetime game. He's going to be like, oh, well, let's drop in coverage for their first possession and get Baker going and let him burn you. Bring the blitz. Their offensive line is god-awful. Bring the blitz. They have Greg Robertson, the number 2 overall pick to the Rams, hasn't done anything, got cut after 3 years signed with the Browns this past offseason. Blitz them. You have 2 of the best pass rushers in the National Football League and Bud Dupree and TJ Watt. Blitz them. Why do you pay them the big bucks for? This is why pass rushers are paid so much. Blitz them. Number 2, the dysfunctional offense. Listen, I know it was a Rams defense. I know Mason wasn't getting ready, getting some help, but the Steelers offense hasn't been up to par as of late, which is, if I said this past summer, you guys would look like me if I was crazy or something. Which I'm surprised about. Obviously, Ben goes down, and that's a key addition, but you should be able to run the ball in the National Football League with this offensive line. Jalen Samuels couldn't get the rock on. Credit, the Rams have a pretty good defense. Aaron Donald ate everyone on the offensive line's lunch, including dessert. But I gotta see improvements from this offense this week. Number 3, not opening up the playbook. Listen, Randy Fichtner kind of minimizes the game for Rudolph. It's a good idea, but he's in a second-year pro. Usually when the Steelers got down, especially versus the Seahawks, and they had to throw this ball, listen, this guy is good. He was a gunslinger at Oklahoma State. He's 6'5". He could stand in the pocket, make the throws. He makes some bad decisions. But I'll give you that. He makes some bad decisions, but I mean, let him sling it. Why not? It's prime time. See what this guy could do. Get the analysts ante on their feet, thinking the Steeler team could go far. Listen, this Broncos team a couple years back, how did they win the Super Bowl? By defense. Peyton Manning was better than Mason Rudolph is now, but he wasn't that much better, let's be honest. He didn't throw a lot of passes. He threw like 15 passes in that Super Bowl, all led by Von Miller in defense. So I think Bud Dupree and TJ Watt could take over nicely for Von Miller in that defense, bringing the 7th victory of the Super Bowl to Pittsburgh. Number 4, no costly penalties if this game goes on the line. Listen, the past 2 weeks, the Steelers were in 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 7 chances, and they gave up 2 defensive holding and pass interference plays. One of them, I think, was uncatchable against the Colts, or Brian Hoyer threw it deep to, I think, Zach Pascal or Chester Rogers. And then Steven Nelson accidentally bumped into him. Like, you can't have that. The ball's not even catchable. Just play next to him. Don't let him catch it. He wasn't even going to catch it if he bumped into them. If he did bump into them, he wouldn't catch it. And that gave the Colts a chance to tie up the game-winning field goal, but Adam Terry went shank upon him and missed it. And then last week, there's like a minute left. Cooper Kupp runs in and out. Where have we seen that before? Mike Hilton gets called with holding, gives him a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down. That's huge, especially in 3rd and 7, the way our defense playing. Let the defensive line do their work. You don't have to cover for that long because there's going to be a sack. 20 from the hour sports hits. We'll see where it returns after this message. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast, all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sports Hits with Cwit. Happy to have you guys back today. Got a great episode planned for you guys, so stick around because it's going to be a good one. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Steel City Sport 4. Again, that is Steel City Sport 4. On Twitter. So we're going to get started here, but first, hit that music. Alright, so the Steelers and Browns play tonight, so I'm going to get somebody's input. I'm going to call my dad, big Steelers fan, loves watching the game with me. Dad.
Yeah, what's up?
You're on the podcast right now. Say hello.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
From Boston.
From Boston. See a lot of Patriots fans today?
No, there's people from all over the country, but I was getting a good feel for people from asking about the Steelers game. They say they think it's going to be a really good game, but everybody thinks because the Steelers have been playing so well, they'll pull it out.
Yeah, that's what I was calling you for. What do you think? I mean, you've seen this defense and what they can do, and obviously you've grown up watching the Steel Curtain, Jack Lambert, all those guys, even Mean Joe Green at some points. Has this defense ever reminded you of the Steel Curtain and what they do trying to get to the passer at their best?
Well, the Steel Curtain's a little above my time, but I think with T.J. Watt and with Bud Dupree coming off the edge, Colin, I think they've been great. And honestly, the addition of Minka Fitzpatrick, as you and I have discussed, there are a lot of people that thought giving up a number one pick for him was not the right idea. But completely, I feel it was the right idea. He just settles that whole defense. He's the quarterback of the defense, and he's a ball hawk, as you know. He just is always around the ball. So I think the turnovers they're getting this year, and that was the problem they had last year. They just weren't getting the turnovers. I think the turnovers they're getting this year and the pressure they'll be able to put on Baker Mayfield, because I do not think the Cleveland Browns have a very good defense or offensive line. So I think that bad offensive line, even though it's in Cleveland, and listen, all the dog pound will be fired up tonight. It'll be a tough environment, but I think the defense will come to play, and I think Mason Rudolph will make, and you said this in your podcast earlier this week, he'll make just enough plays to keep them going. I think with James Conner coming back today will be a good addition, and I think the Steelers can make just amount of plays. Listen, when they only give up 3 points to the the LA Rams, and the only touchdown that they score was on defense, I think the defense is playing great. And Joe Hayden had a great game. How many balls did he knock down?
Yeah, he did.
In that game the other day.
Yeah.
Great game.
You made a good point about the turnovers. Obviously, the Steelers struggled with turnovers the last couple of years. Got their guys going, and I just saw a stat the other day. The Steelers have had 15 turnovers last year. And take a guess, how many do they have this year?
I think they have was it 28? Is it
22. 22
so
turnovers. So they have 7 more turnovers.
And they only
played 10 games.
Amazing. Yeah,
it is.
Amazing.
So before I let you go here, give me your game pick and your score real quick.
Okay, my score is going to be 21-13 Steelers. I think we're going to get a pick 6. And I think we'll get a couple of short fields off turnovers. I think they'll score 1 touchdown and a couple field goals. But my final is Steelers 21, Browns 13 tonight.
All right. That's a great Bill Whitty. So thanks for joining. All right.
I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you later tonight. We'll talk about it. Okay?
All right. We'll see you. Bye.
All right. Love you. See you, bud.
Again, that is my dad, of course, Bill Whitty. Thanks for calling in. Good input about the Steelers. So I saw this news article on ESPN yesterday. It was, should the Steelers pursue Colin Kaepernick? Obviously, you may not know. Colin Kaepernick has been getting a workout with NFL teams. I think that's phenomenal for Kaepernick. I think he definitely has a future in the NFL. Obviously, he was a great player, maybe a little bit past his prime, but he's still a good player. Obviously, Hugh Jackson has decided to run that workout, and Kaepernick, only at 32 years old, is a fairly good backup, in my opinion. Maybe even for a starter if someone gets injured, but I don't think this guy's a good fit for the Steelers, and I'm going to tell you right now. Mason Rudolph is kind of in a tryout year, I tell you. They want to see what they have from the guy. Obviously, they had a first-round grade on him. If you may have not known that, Mike Tomlin said that a couple weeks ago. So they want to see what they got. I mean, he's built like Big Ben. You think about it. I mean, Big Ben's obviously a little heavier, but Mason Rudolph's 6'5". He looks small to Big Ben. Big Ben's more built than Mason Rudolph, though. He's like rookie, if you want to say. He didn't play at all last year. He didn't dress. He's a rookie right now. So why change it up? I mean, you're 5-4. You're a winning football team. With your backup quarterback, why change it? Why change it? Ben's 37, Mason's 24. Why? Why change it? I don't think you need to change it. Why change it? Why bring Kaepernick in, try to learn a whole new system? Then you'd have to get rid of Duck, and the fans would hate that. Everyone loves Duck. Quack, quack. But why? Why? Like, why? Like, I get it. Kaepernick's a good player, but he's past his prime. He hasn't played football in a couple years. I don't get it. Another thing, what's next for Gardner Minshew? Obviously, the Jacksonville Jaguars have came out with statements saying that Nick Foles will now be their starting quarterback. And I'm going to say what's next for Minshew Mania. If you're the Jaguars, Minshew Mania may have been the worst thing that happened to you guys. I'm not going to lie. Like, you may have thought it was awesome to be 3-4-5 or whatever the heck the record they are, but it may have been the worst thing that could happen to them. Excuse me. Because now you have the pick. You just threw a lot of money. I think it was 4 years, $84 million at Nick Foles. You just threw a lot of money at him. So why? Why? Like, why? Why now? Like, why now? Like, are you going to get rid of Foles, a guy you just committed to for Gardner Minshew, led him to a 4-5 record? I mean, yeah, he was a fifth round pick, whatever the heck he was, but it was the worst thing that could happen for the Jaguars. You think about it, it's the worst thing that could have happened to them. Gardner Minshew going off, and now it's QB controversy. Obviously, Nick Foles is the better player. They're going to get a lot of hate, Jacksonville will. They're going to get a lot of hate. Obviously, Tampa Bay Buccaneers should have released Vernon Hargreaves, who have now been claimed by the Texans. A young corner from Florida, 24 years old. Kind of lazy, but what's better than having Artie Burns in this guy? Obviously, this guy has more talent because they were in the same draft, but Vernon Hargreaves was like a top 20 pick, and Artie Burns was like 25th or something. But obviously, Hargreaves has more potential, but Artie Burns may have the better attitude. But Artie Burns is pretty good at special teams, but he's not that great at corner. And I think Vernon Hargreaves has the edge over him at cornerback, which position they play. Speaking of quarterback, the rookie, Grady Williams, will be going against the rookie, Deontay Johnson. Who would have thought that through week 10, backtrack a couple months ago to the NFL draft, who would have thought week 10 from the NFL draft that Deontay Johnson was off to a better start than his career than Greedy Williams? Listen, Greedy Williams was hyped up. Everyone thought, oh, no one can throw on him. He's an island. He'll go stop Antonio Brown or whatever. Listen, this guy has been struggling. He's not built. He's scrawny. Him and Denzel Ward, they're both small. You throw it up, it's a 50-50 ball against him. I mean, he doesn't like the tackle. He even told you that. He doesn't like the tackle. He's okay in coverage skills, but he's got to adapt. No one knew Deontay Johnson's name. I did. I watched the Senior Bowl. This guy was getting off and on cornerbacks all day long. He's the best route runner in the class. No one knew his name. It's going to be fun to see these rookies battle tonight. Obviously, Grady will probably be on an island, trusting him, as will Steve Wilkes, the defense coordinator for the Browns. But Deontay's gonna make some big plays. Reminds me a little bit of Antonio Brown, as I said in the last episode. Breaking news: Adam Gase will return for the Jets coach in 2020. And a little message to the New York Jets: have fun with your ceiling being 7-9. Listen, Adam Gase, he did a good thing with Miami. He turned around that organization, and they got right where they wanted to. The first round in the playoffs getting trampled by the Steelers. Good job, Miami. Good job. But this guy doesn't work with Sam Darnold. You saw what happens this year. He doesn't work with him. He's seen ghosts out there. Obviously, something's not working. They're not using Le'Veon Bell. He's banged up in some way. He's probably pissed off more than anyone. He signed that big deal and left Pittsburgh a 5-4 team with their backup quarterback to go play with Sam Darnold, number 3 overall pick. He signed all that money. He accepted less money than what the Steelers offered him. Huh? Joke's on you. 20 from the hour Sports Hits Freeway returns after this message. Sports Hits with Cwit. Welcome back. I'm gonna give you some fantasy football input. Excuse me. Um, Obviously, Austin Hooper, the great Falcons tight end, went down with I think it was a MCL injury or something. So I'm gonna give you some replacements that you guys should maybe target, maybe even trade for if your trade deadline isn't passed. So let's get started. Excuse me. Number one, Gerald Everett. Listen, this Rams offense is dysfunctional, but he's going to have to get the ball out fast. And usually when you get the ball out fast, you're only looking at one guy because the receivers aren't finished with their route, and that's the tight end. This offensive line is horrendous this year. Jared Goff the ball's out fast. Jared Everett's getting a lot of targets on this team. Good option for a tight end, as he classifies as a tight end. Maybe even be a wide receiver at the end of the day. Number two, Mike Gesicki. Ever since Ryan Fitzpatrick has taken over, this Dolphins team has done pretty well. They had 2 straight wins. Rookie head coach Brian Flores went and beat the Colts this past weekend. So they're a good football team. Great coach in Brian Flores. I like that hiring at the beginning. Listen, he's taken a tanking football team and leading them to 2 wins. Obviously, you guys may think that 2 wins will get him a bad draft pick, but who cares, guys? You worry about the draft in the offseason. You worry about winning football games right now. Number 3, Jack Doyle. Listen, ever since Andrew Luck retired, Jacoby Brissett's favorite targets the past 2 years, 2 years ago when he played that full season, were Jack Doyle. He's seen one of the most targets on this team besides T.Y. Hilton. With even T.Y. Hilton hurt, this guy's going to see a lot of targets. He's a big red zone threat. He had a touchdown against the Steelers. So look to add Jack Doyle if you're in desperate need and you're in a little league that you can snag him quick on the waiver wire. Another question that's been going on in the fantasy world is, should the Giants shut down Saquon Barkley? And as a Saquon owner, you look at this and you go, no, you're going to lose now. I'm going to lose. Listen, it's fine. Like, he's not going to get shut down. Saquon won't do that. Fantasy needs you, Saquon, and you're not going to pull a Le'Veon Bell, are you? All right, pull away from fantasy for a sec. The Giants need to see what they can have in Daniel Jones with talent around him. This is the future. Saquon Barkley is the future with Daniel Jones. This is what you invested your draft capital in. He should have passed 2 first-round picks from Duke and from Penn State. You got to see what you have. See what you're working with. You're really going to throw in Wayne Gallman from Clemson in there? When you have Saquon Barkley, who's maybe not at 100%, but you got to see. Listen, an ankle injury, you get a broken ankle, it fixes it up in the offseason. You won't lose a step with a broken ankle. Even if he's at 90% and they're going to shut him down, that'd just be soft by the Giants organization, and someone needs to be punished with that. Dave Gettleman. Obviously, the big in-state rival, Michigan versus Michigan State, is playing this year, and hopefully Devin Bush is at the game. Devin Bush obviously been touring up the Michigan State field when they played last year, and Michigan's just going to keep doing what they're doing. It's working. This team, ever since the second half versus Penn State, this team has been absolutely phenomenal. They're playing defense better. Don Brown's leaving his guys on the island. The linebackers are quick off the ball. McGrone's really setting himself in. Aiden Hutchinson's been playing really well as a sophomore. Carlo Kemp's kind of finding a stride. Metellus is getting better and better. Levert Hill's a shutdown corner. Derwin Gray's doing well. Hell, I can name the whole roster, but I'm not going to waste your time. Go Blue. But listen, they just got to keep doing what they're doing. This team lost to Illinois. Brandon Peters, our Michigan transfer. I love it. A Michigan transfer beat Michigan State. Keep doing what you're doing, and Mike D'Antoni might not have his job at the end of the day. Some game picks for you guys. Listen, my Steelers are playing the Browns in Cleveland, the big old dog pound. Really excited to watch this game. Obviously, the Steelers are going to try and pound the rock on these Browns defense. Obviously, getting James Conner back will help. So I got the Steelers winning this game eventually. I think the defense will hold up. I think they'll get to Baker Mayfield, get 2 turnovers in this game, as long with 4 sacks. 2 by TJ Watt, 1 by Cam Hayward, and 1 by Bud Dupree. But at the end, I think the Steelers' defense will be too much for these Browns to handle. I think Baker Mayfield will make a costly decision, and the Steelers will win this game 24-13 with a game-winning pick 6 by the cornerback Mike Hilton. Falcons and Panthers. Obviously, Falcons had a surprise win last week going into the Superdome and beating the Saints in a blowout, actually. Who would have thought of that? Saints not really looking too good, but heck, the Falcons might be back, folks. Who knows? But the Falcons had the Panthers this week. Obviously, going to have to deal with Christian McCaffrey, the most dynamic player in the league right now. This guy has been awesome. Should be in the MVP conversation, but it's hard for running backs to be in it. But I think Christian McCaffrey will be too much, and Kyle Allen will make good decisions, check down if he needs to. So I got the Panthers winning this game 24-17. Cowboys at Lions. Listen, the Lions defense, they're not up to par, but they're all up to par on the run. I think Dak Prescott will pick these guys apart when it comes Sunday at 1 o'clock. So I got the Cowboys winning in a statement win 38-21. The Jaguars at the Colts. Obviously, the return of Nick Foles, you guys will see. This game's on CBS. I got the Colts. Jacoby Brissett expected to play, so I think that gives a slight edge to the Colts. But I actually had Jacksonville winning this game on a Josh Lambo 52-yard field goal to win, so I got the Jaguars winning 27-24 in this game. The Bills at the Dolphins. Listen, these Dolphins are pulling out rabbits from their hat. Brian Flores is doing a great job with this team with the talent he has. Winning 2 games is really impressive. The Bills coming off a loss versus the Browns. This Bills offense is dysfunctional, but their defense will carry over in a sneaky win in overtime, and I think the Bills will win 26-19 in a sneaky trap game for these Bills. Texans play the Ravens. Listen, to one of the 2 best teams in the league. Obviously, 2 of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league, Deshaun Watson and, of course, Lamar Jackson. But I think Lamar Jackson will be too much for this Texans team, who has been struggling on defense as of late. As you may know, T.J. Watt's brother, J.J. Watt, a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, tore his pec early on in the year. So I think that affects them mighty much, especially against the run with the Ravens team who loves to pound the rock. So I think the Ravens will end up winning this game in a shootout, 31-35. The Broncos and Vikings coming off a statement win versus the Cowboys. They went in the Jerry World and took care of business. Kirk Cousins was money. He was playing well. He's playing like he's worth $84 million, which he was paid a couple off seasons ago. And these Broncos with Brandon Allen as a quarterback, it's going to be a tough game for them, but I do have the Vikings pulling away and winning 24-9. The Jets and the Redskins. This is what I like to call a tank bowl. Obviously, the Jets coming in with one of the worst offenses in the league, even with Le'Veon Bell, but the Redskins' offense might be worse. With rookie Dwayne Haskins will likely be starting for the rest of the year for these Redskins. Interim coach Bill Callahan said that earlier. But they do get Darius Geis back this week. He's a dynamic running back. He can catch the ball. He's a good fantasy ad if he's still on your waiver wire, so go pick him up. That's another fantasy for you guys. But this Redskins team, I think, will not be up to par. I think Haskins will have a crucial turnover, and I think the Jets will end up winning 19-9. The Saints and the Buccaneers may be a little bounce back game for the Saints as they played Bucs down in Tampa. Obviously, Drew Brees struggled last week to produce any offense, but the Falcons' defense is a little different than the Buccaneers. Buccaneers have been struggling as of late. But I think this game will be a light shootout. And I do have the Saints winning with a pick six at the end where Jameis Winston is given like 50 seconds left, no timeouts to try and do something. But I had the Saints winning by 2 scores, 45-31, excuse me, with a interception at the end, as I said. Cardinals at the 49ers is going to be a tough game for Kyler Murray and company. The 49ers going to bounce back hard as they were ticked off that their kicker missed a field goal for them to remain undefeated, but that's how the cookie crumbled. The 49ers are back home this week, taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona just lost the game to Tampa, where Kyler Murray played his heart out, but it wasn't good enough. So I do have the 49ers winning this game. I think Kyler Murray will struggle against this great 49ers defense, Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, Richard Sherman, all those guys. So I do have the 49ers pounding the rock in this game and eventually winning this game 21-10. The Bungles and the Raiders, knock on wood if you're with me. The Bungles and the Raiders, I think the Raiders, they're a good team. Steelers obviously need this win to stay up with the Raiders. Obviously, it's kind of like a little bye week for the Raiders as usual. But I think the Raiders will take care of business and win 34-10 with Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs having a big day. The Patriots at the Eagles, tough place to play. Big one of my great buddies, Andre, is a big Eagles fan, but I have to pick against him this week. The Patriots defense, too good for this offense. I think Tom Brady will try and pick this secondary part that has been struggling with no recent additions to this team at the trade deadline or even signing a free agent to that credit. So I do have the Patriots winning this game 27-20. The Bears at the Rams, obviously, this is a big, big game for both teams. But obviously, one of them has to take the L and fly back home. As I was going to say, and may have given away my answer. But I do have the Rams winning this game. A little bounce back week for them. I think the Aaron Donald will cause a lot of trouble for Mitchell Trubisky. Will be in the backfield every single play. But I do have the Rams winning this game pretty handily, winning this 31-17. The Chiefs and Chargers, a lot of people think this one will be a shootout. I'm more of a, not a big shootout like we were going to see last year from the Rams and Chiefs, but I'm going to, respectively say I think the Chiefs will win 31-27. I think this offense too much for the Chargers defense that has been struggling as of late. They couldn't stop Devlin Hodges, for God's sake. So how are they going to stop the most dynamic offense in the league with the reigning MVP, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and all the weapons he has, Tyreek Hill, all those guys. So I do have the Chiefs winning this game 31-27. Chiefs defense comes up big at the end with a stop. All right, guys, that's going to end it up. Go Steelers tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Steel City Sport 4. Again, that is Steel City Sport 4 on Twitter. So enjoy the games, guys. Go Steelers. Root hard for them. I'll see you guys on Tuesday the following week. Enjoy the games, guys. We'll see you next time.
That convertible drop fill, 87 the top pill. Back. You know what it is. Yeah. You know what it is. Y'all already know what it is, man. If you don't, you should by now. When you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow. I put it down. Taylor Gang. Black and yellow. Yeah.